trees have played a key role in the existence of humans for millions of years. I think we have that memory, that ancient memory within each of us.
Why are humans so connected to trees?
Well, I think on a primal level, we remember long, long ago that we're from the trees. History has shown us that when we're in trouble or we're threatened, we run for the tree's cover. I think that people understand the relationship of humans and trees and all living things as a source of food, as a source of clothing, as a source of shelter. We've cut down and destroyed 98% of the old-growth forests in North America. We've cut down and destroyed 96% of all the redwoods. So at this late date, we think it's prudent to go on the east coast of the United States and gather the largest and oldest genetics of the oaks, the key trees that will help our children and our grandchildren reverse climate change.
And this is what Archangel is specifically trained to do. Take the superior genetics of trees that have sometimes existed for 2,000 years and to introduce that into a new landscape. That genetics can actually improve the biodiversity of any particular set of trees or grove of trees. So that's really an important part of the mission of Archangel.
People always knew that we had to plant trees. It's not enough to plant a tree, you have to plant the right tree and you have to plant it in the right place. We need the most flexible trees that are going to live in different kinds of environments. What's important about the clones is that we know that they're hardy. We don't know where the seeds come from. What's also interesting about clones is that clones grow faster than seeds. They're thousands of years old. So they're actually really fully grown trees that look like little babies and little seedlings, but they grow so much faster. So they're more efficient also.
So why redwoods? Well, redwoods are iconic trees. The largest coastal redwoods are over 300 feet tall. Because of their size, they sequester more carbon than any other tree species, and that's extremely important.
So if you can grow redwoods or sequoias in places where they don't naturally grow, you're going to help the environment in a different and more impactful way than you might if you just had a usual elm or an oak tree. So when David visited me on Long Island, what was so exciting was that my friend Silas Martyr introduced us to his father Charlie, who remembered that there was a grove of redwood trees, of young coastal redwoods at Longhouse.
Longhouse Reserve's mission is to inspire living with art in all forms. Jack collected ceramics and furniture and plants and art, and that complete composite attracted me to come here last October. Despite my background in art and gardening, really getting a sense of all the rich things that were going on here. I like to say it was a little bit like trying to get a sip of water out of a fire hose. And one day, Holger Winninga, our horticulturalist, said, "You have to come out. Scott Chaska is here to look at the redwoods." And I said at that point, "We have redwoods?" Which I think also surprised David Millart when he first came here. You have redwoods? Redwoods in Long Island? How could that be?
The trees have been doing surprisingly well over the years. They must have doubled in size since they were planted, and the benefits of planting coastal redwoods in our climate, depending on how the weather or the climate adjusts over the next decade, might have much better resistance to the impact of the climate change than some of our native trees.
The interest in these specific coastal redwood trees that have been growing for 25 to 30 years at Longhouse Reserve on the east coast of the United States is that this hasn't happened before, because the natural habitat for coastal redwoods has been reduced to a very narrow line all the way across the coast of California. And the clones from these trees we planted at Hayground School in Bridgehampton here on the East Coast. Here we are a few months later. They've been well watered and well cared for. They're putting out lots of new growth, and they absolutely look thriving.
One thing that I really like about this project is how intuitive it's been from the start, and how supportive other knowledgeable redwood growers like Holgar at Longhouse helped us to decide how to lay out the redwood project. The distance between redwoods, kind of ideal, is about 18 feet. So we used that as a guide, and we laid out a very serpentine path because we really wanted it to have movement, have it be a place where kids could entertain themselves, go in there and do things. I think that's one way that children really connect with a tree. I know it was for me.
We're at an exciting moment in this project of Archangel Ancient Tree Archives in connecting with our area. When David expressed to me how important it is for him and also for the mission of Archangel to connect with children and to connect with the next generation and bring to them the experience of actually planting these trees, these young trees, and having the experience to be able to watch them grow and to tend them. Because it's really important to have a sense of the generations, as these trees are going to outlive us and the next generations coming in, to be able to have that connection with the trees.
One of the specialties that Archangel has enlisted throughout our 25 years is asking that the First Nations people, the indigenous people, region by region, helps us to locate those trees. And so we'll be recruiting their help and their guidance and their participation all up and down the East Coast. And we think that's important. Then we'll get these trees into their children's hands to help reforest the entire East Coast as well as the large cities.
I think it's really interesting. Archangel's doing something that nobody else is doing. Why not try it, right? We're on the verge of kind of catastrophe, and we need to think outside the box. We need to look for all solutions. I'm so proud to be part of what Archangel is doing because we're trying something new.
I'm really looking forward to continuing work with David and Archangel as we propagate as many trees as we can here at Longhouse and along the East Coast.
One of the skills that we've built up over the years at Hayground, to nurture something, to care for something, to be responsible for something. And that's what growing, that's what a garden, that's what the kind of forest that we want to make is all about. It's about that care, and it's about the reciprocity between the plant and us.
We need to plant trees to help us win this battle to reverse climate change, and we can. But we'll have to enlist the help of the school children all up and down the East Coast to plant the trees, key arborists, key nursery people, and 5 years worth of funding to locate these trees, get a team of experts there to do a site survey, expert climbers to climb the biggest, oldest trees on the East Coast, get the genetic material down and take it to our labs and work on it in our labs. So as we plant them, they'll go back in their genetic history, turn back onto their memory, their genetic memory. Trees whose genetics have the memory of drought, fire, trees that will be our best shot to give to our children and our grandchildren to help reverse climate change. That's what we're all about.